Did you know the Find Your Why community gets it wrong? By the end of this video, if you were a Find Your Why community member, you may have moved camps over to Jason camp and you may change the way you think about finding your why. So before we go in and dissect how they got it wrong, let's jump back for just a second and recap a couple of things. So the Find Your Why really took off with the Start Your Why movement that Simon Sinek did. Now, there's been other variations and permutations of this concept over the years, but in today's current form, I think Simon really is the leader of this movement. And I listened to his TED Talk, I went through the book a couple of times, looking at it, trying to figure it out. And then I started talking to other people that were also looking into this Find Your Why. Here's the thing that I kept hearing over and over. They're like, "Yeah, I can't find my why. I don't know how to find what's the one thing that matters." And one of the big statements in that community is first, the most important day is why you're born, and the next most important day is when you discover why. What's that supposed to mean? So up until the moment you discover why you were born, your life is just kind of this aimless, purposeless thing. That didn't make sense to me and it didn't sit well. So I started diving in a little bit more and exploring it. And here's what I really found. One, Find Your Why is cool in that it's helping people get introspective and it's helping them think about life at a deeper level. I'm sure you've probably met people who are just kind of bouncing through life and they're looking and they're like, oh, let's go do this fun thing. Let's go do this fun thing. And they don't really have any underlying purpose besides just trying to entertain themselves to death. And so they're constantly scrolling social. Then when they're not scrolling social, then they're trying to figure out the next exciting thing. And their life is just like this giant spinning on a wheel trying to keep up. Not terribly great when you think about it. That kind of lifestyle is almost like you're living a constant diet of Twinkies and Hostess cupcakes. One or two is going to be okay, but you're just constantly pounding them down like this stack right here. Pretty soon you'd get sick and tired of it, but you have to keep eating it and eating it to keep the sugar buzz going. And the more you eat the sugar buzz, the more you get sick, and the more you get sick, the more you want the sugar buzz, and it's just this constant blah. You feel terrible. Same thing if all you're doing is entertaining yourself to death. It's yucky over time. But when you rewind a little bit and you're like, well, why am I even living? Why am I doing all these things? When you start packing that, you can start finding some deeper meaning for your life. But like I talked about earlier, so many people are like, I don't know what my why is. I don't know the one thing that I'm here to do. And that's where they get it wrong. Life is not about the one thing. We go through life and we have stages and we'll have purposes. And sometimes we fulfill some of those purposes and we have dreams and we have hopes. And we're going to chase some of those dreams and hopes. And over time, our purpose will shift and we may have 6 or 7 purposes simultaneously. I can tell you right now, one of my purposes is to be a husband, to be a father, but not just a husband and a father, to be the best husband and father I can be. Also, I'm a brother. I have a number of siblings. I have parents. Another couple of my purposes is to be the best I can be there. And then I'm providing services for people. And so I'm doing my best to ensure we're providing good services to those people so that they can help them be able to provide for their families. And then I have team members. And so one of my purposes is to take care of my team members. That's not one why. That's not one thing. That's a number of different items. And sometimes those different items, they're going to have slightly different purposes and different whys. But together, you have to blend all that together and figure out what's that general trajectory. And then once you take your stack of all the things that matter, then you can come in and start to really live a purpose-filled life. But to me, it's impossible to only have one singular why. And the more people I talk to about that, they align with that. They're like, well, yeah, I have a number of things that are important, but not just one why for my life. And maybe, Simon, if you see this someday, you can correct me and tell me how I'm getting it wrong, and I would love the feedback. But so far, everyone I've ever talked to tends to agree life has a bunch of different purposes. Some are really big, some are really small, some may last our entire lifetime, others are short, and we can't necessarily consolidate all of those different goals, purposes, hopes, and dreams into one universal why. So what are your thoughts? Leave me a comment. Tell me where I'm getting it wrong. Tell me if you think I've got it right. I'd love to hear where your opinion is on the find your why, start with why mindset. Is it that there's one universal why, or do you have a number of different purposes, goals, hopes, dreams, and visions for yourself? And sometimes you'll fulfill them, sometimes you'll set them off and realize it wasn't actually what you wanted. And then you just keep growing through life on this journey of self discovery, self development, and helping others as well.